Our globalist today knows a thing or two about wine. 14 years ago, Hong Mi-yeun became the first Asian judge at the prestigious Concours Mondial, known as the United Nations of Wine, an honor she still holds today. And I believe now you are the president of the team of judges?
Yes, I do.
She also tastes and judges many top global wines at some of the world's most sought-after wine competitions. Now she has started her business in Korea and has her own collection. She joins us today to tell us what it is like to have one of the most respected wine tasting buds and maybe give us some tips about how to improve our own wine tasting and wine choosing skills. So welcome, bienvenue.
Merci. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, we are very, very glad to have you.
Définition de ce que est vraiment le vin. Donc,
So I understand you just returned from a competition in Germany, Mundus Vini.
In Mundus Vini, we have more than 4,000 samples from all over the world, and this time was about 16 countries sending the samples to the Mundus Vini. So we just evaluated all the wines, and I came back, as you said.
Do you actually taste all of those thousands of wines?
No, actually, we are working in teams. We are divided into different teams. A team is made by 5 international judges, and usually they are not from the same nation. And there is a president of the jury who leads all the tasting during the competition. And your question was about if I taste all those wines. Absolutely not. I cannot do that.
I mean, I was thinking you must be a very heavy wine drinker.
Yeah, that's true. But we have the spoon.
I've seen the competition where you taste and then spit out the wine, so it's
true.
not drinking the wine itself.
But in the meantime, I think that the human palate is difficult to taste more than 50 wines, and this in a day. And this is the regulation of the OIV. But usually in Mundus Vini, we taste around 40 wines a day.
40 wines
Yes,
a day.
and the same wine is tasted by all the judges of the team. So the process is when the bottle comes to the president has to taste it. He or she has to define if there is any defect of the bottle, because you can have a defect, obviously, in a bottle. So when a bottle is not normal, you just cut and you ask for the second bottle. But
Of the same wine?
Of the same wine, because you have to give the chance to the producer, because the cork can be tainted, and wine might be not good as that has to be normally. So we give them 2 chances.
Because it might be just that one bottle that is the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So in a competition like Mundus Vini, what was it like this year? Do you find every year there's a different kind of trend of wines?
Recently, things are changed a lot, because 10 years ago, we had judges who didn't accept any residual sugar in the wine.
So nothing that tasted sweet, I guess.
Yeah. Because some judges were thinking that in maybe a kind of ancient vision, they were thinking about good wine must have no residual sugar at all. But the trends are different now, because as now wine is becoming more popular and popular, there are some population who likes the residual sugar even in the wines. So we are trying to be in the trend in order to understand the new words of the wines, the new trends of the wines, in order to understand the consumer's taste.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
It sort of adapts to what you think may be the changing trend of consumer taste, preference of the wine.
For example, now we have the no-low category, the no alcohol wine and the low alcohol wine, for example.
Wow, that's an interesting category in a wine
is.
competition.
That is.
I mean, it seems such a prestigious group. How do you enter such a group?
I started writing about wine since 2006 in my name. When I have got the diploma of Sommelier and the diploma of the taster, I started to write in the Korean magazine. Then there were not that much journalists, Asian journalists, living in Europe, communicating what was happening in Europe to their own country. I was one of the few Asian ones, and I kept writing about the news in the wine field, especially in the Italian wine field, because I used to live there for 23 years. So I think that was an advantage, being a journalist who can communicate directly to the country. And the second thing is maybe the advantage that I can speak the wine languages.
Wine languages?
Yeah. I mean,
is that a different language?
I mean, the most spoken languages are French, Italian,
I see.
Spanish.
The birthplaces of wine.
Yeah. Of the most prestigious and most traditional countries. So we always talk in French or obviously in English, but we can talk in French, in Italian, as well as Spanish, because Spanish, you have the Spanish wine, but you have also the Chilean wine, the Argentina wine.
Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish.
You can all talk to each other.
So those are the wine languages, I have to say.
And so I see a lot more Asians in the wine tasting field than before. Do you also see them as well?
Yes, because I used to be the only Korean. We were several Asians, just 3 or 4 in Mundusvini, I remember. But now we have Korean judges and even Korean origin judges. Recently, I have seen that colleague who has Korean origin, but he's American. He had been the president of the jury since 1 year ago. I was very happy to see that.
I see a lot of young Koreans actually wanting to become wine tasters, but they go more for the sommelier.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the wine taster and a sommelier?
Okay. Sommelier usually works for a venue and in a strict collaboration with the chef. They make the food and wine pairing menu. They have to care about the logistics, about what to buy, what to sell, and what to recommend to the customer. In the case of wine tasters, we are more focused on the enological phases of the wine to see what are the defects of the wines or what are the good things. I mean, we are more concentrated on the wine, just on the wine, analyzing the wine.
So when you analyze a wine,
Yes.
how do you determine if one is better than the other?
We have 3 assessments, and the first is the visual. If you see a wine, you can easily guess the age of the wine. And then after, you can see the limpidity, the brightness, and after, you just have to have the assessment of the olfactic, the nose. You smell them, then comes the tasting, the mouth.
So the taste is the last thing that that
because
you
you
do.
start by looking at the sample.
When you pour the wine, the color and all the things that you just described, you smell it and then you taste it.
Yeah.
In your mind, what is the right combination of the 3 senses?
Well, if you think that that wine has a ruby color with a violet reflection, it doesn't have to be the contrast showing that it is aged when you taste it. Because there is a logical in the tasting of the wine and in the wine in general. You have a logic.
Yeah. So what you see should sort of harmonize with what you smell and what you taste.
Exactly. That's the reason why we call harmonious a harmonious wine. You got the point.
Oh, the best type of wine.
Yeah, the best type of wine.
와인 테이스팅은 보통 세 가지를 이렇게 나뉩니다. 눈으로 보는 것, 코로 맡는 것, 그리고 입에 넣어가지고 하는 것 세 가지로 나뉘는데 앞에 보시면은 지금 테이스팅 인포메이션 실시 있는데요. 오늘은 테이스팅을 하실 때마다 슛을 가지고 다 체크를 해주셔야 되는 부분이 있겠습니다.
Un grand merci pour l'organisation de cette après-midi, de cette dégustation, qui j'espère va vous faire plaisir. Alors on a choisi aujourd'hui ensemble que des vins médaillés de pays différents, qu'on va essayer de déguster à l'aveugle, comme les dégustateurs professionnels du concours mondial de cuisine. Merci.
감사합니다.
It's my first visit here in Seoul, and I am very surprised with the dynamism of the market. I am very surprising with the diversity of the gastronomy. I am also surprising with a lot of wine stores that you have here. But I think that the consumer maybe needs more information about wine, and the competition CB, one of the goals of the competition is to help the consumer to discover new wine, but always with a guarantee of quality. And when a wine receives a medal of the competition, for sure, it's a very good wine.
So, now you have your own wine collection in Korea.
Yes, I do.
What is that like? Tell us about your collection.
I started launching a brand from Portugal.
Yeah.
And I know that people were...
Why Portugal?
Yeah, were telling me why Portugal. I think it's because it has the quality to price ratio that is very, very good.
Oh.
I remember from 2012, I realized that there were a lot of Portuguese wine winning the medals in the competition. I even realized that the price was very good. When you go to see how much Portuguese drink wines, you can see that they drink more than 60 liters a year.
Really?
Compared to the Korean who drink less than 2 liters per year. That is a lot. I think it's because they have access to a quality without spending that much.
With very reasonably priced wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I got to know a winemaker whose name is Luis Leao, and he's one of the most expert winemaker in Alentejo in the south of Portugal. And the characteristic is that they have the most part of the old wines in Alentejo. So I wanted to challenge myself in introducing something new that is reasonable in the meantime, very well made, and who can have a history, a heritage behind.
traditions is very, very important in the
Yeah.
wine world. And I haven't seen that much Portuguese wine in Korea.
Yeah, that's true. That when they know that I have a Portuguese wine in the portfolio, they ask me, "Is it a Porto?" Because Porto wine is famous in Korea.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yes.
My daughter talks about Porto wine, yes.
Because it's a fortified wine. It has this sugar, it has this image. But there is a lot of Portuguese red and white wines which are very, very good.
And plus the fact that because you are such a, prestigious and well-known wine taster, your collection obviously is going to be held to a higher standard, no?
Oh, well, now I'm planning to launch my Champagne. Yes. Champagne is a region in France
Yes.
in which the denomination is very well protected. And I will launch Champagne from the Grand Cru Bouzy. And we will see if it works.
Wow, looking forward to that. Many people are looking forward to that, I'm sure. But now that you're a player, I guess, in the local market, what do you see as the wine drinking tradition in Korea? And the market itself, as you say, is still relatively small, but does it have potential to grow?
It really have a big, big potential to grow. I remember that I've read that Wine Intelligence took Korea as the second most attractive country after the United States, and that was for 2 years. Because people here are always learning a lot, and we still have, as I told you before, that we are drinking less than 2 liters per year. We still have a lot of space for wines, and the wines can be combined with the gastronomy, and I think we have a very, very rich gastronomy in which we can combine some wines and not really the traditional, well-known one. I remember yesterday I was talking about the president of Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, who came here in Korea for the first time. He was very, very amazed by the Korean food.
Oh, really?
And we were talking about combining some palava from Czech.
The wine from the Czech Republic?
From the Czech Republic to Korean dishes.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually you don't think of that kind of pairing.
Yeah, because usually you're going to pair the dishes from the territory to the wine of the territory. But in Korea, we can match everything because here in Seoul, it is a metropole that you can find every kind of kitchen in a very high level. So we Korean like to mix things.
Yeah.
And I remember I was shocked when I heard the danchan,
Danchan.
Yeah, the
So
combination between the sweet
and salty,
sweet and salty. Because, for example, Italian people, it's only salty or only sweetie at the time.
Not together.
And never together. But Koreans always combine and makes new things and new waves, even in the gastronomy, I think.
Well, I mean, for example, though, I mean, what kind of Korean food do you think might be a new kind of pairing with, for example, the Czech wine that you were just talking about?
Well, we can talk about sam, for example.
Sam?
Yes.
So
Sam,
it's the vegetable?
The vegetable in which you put the meat.
The leaves of the cabbage?
Yeah.
With
or
the rice?
Of the sesame.
Yeah. With the meat, and
the
you
meat,
wrap it all together.
You wrap it all together, putting into the red pepper sauce, even fermented gochujang. And the spiciness of the sam can be combined with the sweet residual sugar that has the wines of Moldavia, for example.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Will people have a higher expectation for your collection since you're such a prestigious judge of wine?
I hope so. But in the meantime, I'm not the one who wants to push or to force my taste to the others. Because I believe that everyone can be a taster. If you don't care that much about if you taste the wine blind and you focus on the essence of the wine, I think that everyone can feel very goodly the wine if you don't have the fear about the wine. I really hope that people could enjoy the wine like they do with makgeolli.
Yeah.
You know, for example, with makgeolli,
But with makgeolli,
Yeah.
there isn't that much variety, so you can
there
just...
are a lot of
I
variety.
know, but people feel more comfortable
Yeah,
choosing makgeolli.
that is.
So that leads me to my final question. Because as you know, Koreans, because they, normally they need to have knowledge of
That's true.
of wine. And so we feel not very confident about choosing wine
Yeah.
or when tasting wine, saying what we think the taste is. Because we fear that we don't know enough to be able to taste. What do you think?
Well, sometimes I've seen people who ask me what is the flavor of blackberry, raspberry, or
To sort of words you describe wine. Yeah.
we are not very familiar.
Yeah.
Those are words in which we are not very familiar.
Yeah.
And they still keep describing the wine this way. I would prefer people describe the wine with their own experience. And there's no law in this game. You just have to talk about what you feel.
You don't have to feel embarrassed by
No,
not knowing
absolutely.
the words and the vocabulary.
No. If you think that something has a Korean dish smell, you can tell and explain
So
to
saying
people.
if it smells like tteokbokki, you can do that.
Well, I haven't tasted a tteokbokki wine until now, but if you feel that, you have to tell the people that you feel that. And you have to explain to people what is tteokbokki, for example. And a wine is never drunk alone. You never drink alone a bottle of wine. Normally, you share your wine, your glass of wine with the people, and you talk about the wine. Wine is something cultural. And if you tell the people about what you think about this wine, a description about what you have in your own country, you can enrich the other person from the culture of your country. So I think being honest to your own taste and trust yourself is a point of the tasting.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful to hear and wonderful to look forward to. And maybe one day we'll see a Korean wine of some sort, become one of the best wines that you've tasted.
Yes, and there is a news about.
Oh.
Yes, 2 days ago we had the result of the spirit selection, which is a very, very renowned competition in terms of spirits. And a Korean distillate, 1 gold and 1 silver medal.
Wow. Well, we are looking forward to many Korean wines and Korean wine tasters and Korean wine lovers becoming part of the wine family. And I'm sure you'll be one of the leaders in all of those.
Thank you.
And that's it for me. I'll be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Sommelier out.